It was designed with the idea that its combination of agility, advanced aviation systems, and relative stealth capabilities would make it one of the best modern fighters. The Typhoon is a multi-role fighter designed and built by the Eurofighter consortium of European companies, created in 1983, composed of Airbus, British Aerospace Systems, Alenia, Aeronautica, Aura, Leonardo, and CASA, which made its first flight in 1994 but did not enter service until 2003. Welcome to a new video. This is Aeropedia. The development history of this aircraft begins with a technical requirement from several NATO countries to replace their aircraft in service. Among them, the McDonnell Douglas F-4, Phantom II of the Royal Air Force, and the German Luftwaffe, the Howard Zipcar, and the Panavia Tornado of the Royal Air Force, the Lockheed F-104 Starfighter from Italy, and the Dassault Mirage F-1 in Spain. The need for this new fighter was the information that was being received about unknowns. New Soviet prototypes that were called Ram-K and Ram-L, which would later be known as the Su-27 Flanker and the Mikoyan 29 Fulcrum. Let's examine the multinational development's complex and convoluted progression with its numerous complications and back-and-forth nature. In 1979, British Aerospace and the former Messerschmitt, which is now called Messerschmitt Bulk of Blohm due to the merger with other companies, presented a proposal, the European Combat Fighter. In October of that year, the French company Dassault joined the program for a trinational study. The name Eurofighter was first used at this development stage. Due to internal politics, France left the team and designed a somewhat smaller and carrier-transportable model, which resulted in the Dassault Rafale. It was after this, in 1982, that the Italian company Air Italia joined. And the Panavia partners remain those who had developed the Tornado, and they called the project Agile Combat Aircraft or Agile Combat Aircraft. Then, the German and Italian governments withdrew funding, and the United Kingdom Ministry of Defense agreed to finance 50% of the cost. And the remaining 50% was taken over by British Aerospace. Even so, although the governments of Italy and Germany did not provide more funds, Air Italia and Messerschmitt Bulk of Blohm continued with the goal of producing two prototype aircraft. British Airspace created the first demonstrator, the Experimental Aircraft Program, or Experimental Aircraft Program, which made its first flight in 1986 and was an immediate success. For this, many parts of the Panavia Tornado were used, including its engines. Germany was also developing the X-31 at that time, along with the American company Rockwell, to have technologies applicable to this future aircraft. The most innovative 3D orientable nozzle was not included in the initial Eurofighter models. This plane largely stems from technologies tested in the experimental aircraft program, and this resemblance is greatly appreciated. Spain joined the project on September 2, 1985. From then on, the project was known as the European Fighter Aircraft or European Fighter Aircraft, and several consortia or alliances were formed to carry out various parts of the plane. Among them, the engine it would use, where the German companies Eurojet and Motoren und Turbinenunion Rolls-Royce from the United Kingdom and Fiat Avio from Italy joined to develop the Eurojet EJ200 turbofan. The project suffered a halt due to the end of the Cold War and the high costs of German reunification, which meant that the project was delayed by about 5 years. Meanwhile, the partners discussed ways to cut the aircraft's price and overall program costs by eliminating systems or reducing the number of prototypes. The aircraft was known as the Eurofighter European Fighter Aircraft from the late 1980s until it was renamed Eurofighter 2000 in 1992. Finally, on March 27, 1994, the first DA-01 prototype flew from the Messerschmitt Bölkow-Blohm factory in Germany. In 1998, it formally adopted the name Typhoon, or Typhoon in Spanish. For 8 years, the 7 prototypes of the program carried out numerous flight hours to reach the manufacturing phase at the beginning of the year, 2001. When the final production contract was signed, the United Kingdom would get 232 units, Germany 180, Italy 121 and Spain 87. The first production deliveries were made in 2003. The Eurofighters are manufactured in 3 batches or tranches. Tranche 1 comprised 194 aircraft, Tranche 2, with multifunctional capacity improvements, completes 299 more units. And due to the reduction in spending by the participating nations, Tranche 3 was divided into 2 parts for the construction of this aircraft. This last tranche began to be delivered in 2014, with a new radar and the ability to carry 2 conformal fuel tanks. Do the EJ2000 engines allow it to fly in a supercruise regime? And it has a thrust-to-weight ratio of 1.15, which allows it to make turns where it maintains energy perfectly. The Typhoon's airframe was designed to be unstable in flight, with canards and a truncated delta wing, which gives it great maneuverability. It had a maximum takeoff weight of 23 tons and has a combat range of 1.389 kilometers. Its maximum speed is 2,495 kilometers, or Mach 2, and it has 13 attachment points for carrying up to 8,000 kilos of weaponry. And as fixed armament, it has a 27mm Mauser cannon with 150 projectiles. Its structural surface is made up of 82% composite materials, which consists of 70% carbon fiber and 12% glass fiber. The ejector seat is a 00 type built by the Martin Baker Company. Due to its design, it is naturally unstable and has a fully digital fly-by-wire flight control with quadruple redundancy, responsible for providing artificial stability. This system automatically corrects the pilot's maneuvers, so it cannot take the plane outside of safety limits. Let's examine a detail in this aircraft's air intake. Do you remember when we watched the video of the Mikoyan 21, how its cone retracts or advances depending on what it wants, to adjust the supersonic shockwave to get the most efficient air intake into the engine? Well, the Eurofighter regulates this with a movable plate under the air intake. The idea is to take advantage of the shockwave to compress the air before it enters the engine, as it needs this air to be at subsonic speed and pre-compressed before it reaches the engine's decompressor. Among the countries outside the consortium that acquired this aircraft are Austria, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which was one of the largest buyers acquiring 72 aircraft. The Typhoon made its combat debut during the military intervention in Libya in 2011, with the Royal Air Force of the United Kingdom and the Italian Air Force carrying out aerial reconnaissance and ground attack missions. Until a new video, my name is Marcos and this is the Aeropedia of Aviation World.